So this last week we were at a CSF retreat. This recording is just film. We were at a CSF retreat, and CSF is Christian Student Fellowship, great organization. On the leadership team. He keeps falling. I'm sorry, guys. We're both on the leadership team, and we were at a retreat, and at the campfire, we were spitballing ideas for outreaches for CSF, and I was just spitballing in the moment, and I was like, what could be an outreach? Because we want to be able to engage with people, not just, hand out things. So, of course, conversations in water was one of my suggestions.
Naturally.
Oh, naturally. And along with, I think another one was...
Cornbread and cornhole.
Cornbread and cornhole. So, there's some sort of...
They weren't, actual suggestions, though. It was just like, oh, this is a cool thing, and this is kind of what we want to do behind it, the ideas behind it.
I mean, I would do a rousing round of cornbread and cornhole.
Yeah, but conversations in water, I died so hard. I laughed so much.
He did.
Yeah.
But he is still alive.
Yes.
Praise the Lord. So, amen to him. Okay. So, we're going to just go into it because we got a lot of suggestions. We put something on my Instagram story. Mm-hmm. Instagram is an application that you can you can download from the App Store. It's free.
On iPhone and Android.
iPhone and Android, yes.
Yes.
And the Samsungs and the... I'm kidding. I'm a tech guy. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Just get in the frame.
Sorry.
Anyways, Instagram's it's a social network of people sharing things, much like the other social networks. And so we put out a story, and we got a bunch of suggestions from a lot of people. So we're going to start with How Can a Woodchuck Chuck Wood? By our very own Evan Arnold. Evan Arnold is a friend of ours.
Oh, we're crediting these.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
He'll be...
We just did.
Okay.
So, oh, I don't know what that was. All right. So, Evan Arnold. Can a woodchuck chuck wood?
I'd say... Or is that what it's... Yeah, can a woodchuck chuck wood? I'd say... probably, just because why else would they make a rhyme thing about it, So, yeah.
All right.
There you go.
So, Emma Mott spammed us. Which one?
All right. She asked us a bunch of questions, but one of the questions was how to ask someone out. All right. So, Nevan, would you like to give a whirl?
Oh, yeah.
First?
As the foremost expert on dating, I can tell you, those listening that know me probably know I've never dated a person. A non-person? I also haven't dated any of those. I don't know what that would be. An animal? That's strange. So, never dated. But I will tell you, as an expert on dating, I say you just don't. I think the best way to ask somebody out is to just not.
You just don't ask them?
Yeah.
So, you just, plan the date and,
don't even ask
them to be there?
Just pick them up. Not physically. But in a car.
So just, show up at their house. What,
Well, or, their living quarters,
okay.
Whatever those might be.
Right. I have a bunch of quarters.
None
of them are living, though.
It's irrelevant.
But, so you think you just show up one day?
Or two.
So you just plan this out ahead of time, though. Mm-hmm. And you just pick them up.
I mean, you don't gotta plan too intensely.
And you go on the date.
Yeah, Taco Bell, Jimmy John's.
Okay.
Toys R Us.
They're closed.
No, but there's a couple reopening across the somewhere. It was in some shady Facebook news story. I'm sure it's real.
Probably.
Yeah. No, and you know what? It's a non-proven method of dating.
Hasn't been tested.
And I'll tell you what. Asking girls out is frightening. I don't think women understand how frightening it is.
Yeah. Also, I think we should clarify that it should be the man asking the woman and not vice versa.
Yeah.
It's, biblically, that's kind of how it's supposed to work, for one thing.
Yes.
And, if a woman has to, like initiate things, like ask the guy out, then like you're just kind of setting up the man to like be super to be super passive. That was gross. You're setting up the man to just be super passive in the relationship, and that's not what you want at all. So I mean, like, I don't think that a woman should ask a man, but that doesn't mean she can't, like, show interest first, if that makes sense. So, like, try to get the guy's attention, not in, like, a horrible, not great way that we're all thinking
Yeah,
of.
that sounds
But,
horrible and
yeah,
not great.
Yeah, but it... like, if you're, like, intentional about, like, when you see him at social things, like, making time to, like, talk with him, maybe in, like, one-on-one or, like, in a smaller group.
Or 3-on-6.
3-on-6. Basketball.
That would be an unfair game.
There's not even 6 people on the court on the same team.
What
normally.
are you... Never mind.
Anyway, so... Moral of the story.
Don't date.
Don't date, but if you do, make sure that the guy is asking the girl. But if you're a woman... You can still show interest.
Please do.
But don't, like, initiate things.
Yeah.
Don't ask him on a date. That's what we mean by initiating.
Yes, but also, like, there are specific situations. Like, for example, right, if a guy assumes interest, asks you out, and you're like, hey, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And then next day, you're like, hey.
Not the next day.
I think I'm ready.
Year and a half, maybe. Or like
then the ball is in your court. So
right.
now you don't necessarily ask him, but you're like, hey, guess what?
Right.
Remember that conversation?
Right, yeah, exactly.
So,
I have a friend who, they're actually engaged now. She's actually engaged. And she told me the story about how she was really good friends with this guy. And he, like, one time he's just like, hey, just putting this out there, like, I'd kind of like to date you. And she's like, no, I don't really think so. And he's like, okay, fine. And then like 6 months later, he does the same thing. And she's like, I don't think so yet. And then later, like, she realized, like, wait a minute.
He's pretty great.
Yeah, and so they started dating, and now they're engaged.
I'll tell you what, ladies, if you find a good guy, I don't care if he's butt ugly, like, marry that dude, they're rare. As a man, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty terrible. So, okay. So, moving on, out of our insights with Nevan and Justin, how do you dress like a Disney princess?
A Disney princess? How do I dress like one? Well, I don't. So...
I am proud of you. That's all we need, and I don't either, so moving on. That's random. Okay. Things to put in your popcorn. M&M's.
I've never had that. Like the little, like the...
Do you know the mini M&M's? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh, those
I'm talking
fantastic.
Mini M&M's? They're just little smaller M&M's that are the same thing.
But they're better.
I've had mini M&M's, I guess. But do they, like, come in different flavors, too? Like peanut butter and...
Flavors. See, I never got that.
Pretzel.
M&M's, when they started coming in flavors, it doesn't make sense to me. There used to be 2 kinds of M&M's. There were good M&M's, and then there were peanut butter M&M's. Or not peanut butter, peanut.
Peanut M&M's?
There were peanut
What?
M&M's.
I actually used to feel the same way, but then my dad started eating peanut M&M's all the time, and that's...
You know, that's a real thing. When your
my
dad
favorite.
eats something...
Yeah, especially if you're a
you
guy.
like it.
If you're a boy and your dad eats something.
You're like, I gotta eat that now.
Yeah.
That explains why I never eat my veggies.
That explains why you never eat your veggies.
Okay, moving on here.
No, but like popcorn. So you know the little like salt things. I don't know what the brand is, but like the stuff. No, the stuff that you get. Stop talking. The stuff that you get. You can get it at movie theaters, but you can also buy it in stores. It's like flavored like garlic or like there's another one that's like kettle corn
the
stuff.
Popcorn powder stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that crap.
What?
Oh, it's
for
the
real?
worst.
Yo, I really enjoy that.
Alright,
We would always like sneak it into the movie theater, so we'd get popcorn and then add it to ourselves. We don't have to buy it from the movie theater because it's like $6 more than it should be.
I just thought it was powdery and gross.
Yeah.
Pandas, suggested by my roommate, one of them. Pandas.
I guess we're moving on.
We're moving on.
Pandas.
I like them.
I want to say they're marsupials, but I know it's not the right word. But they have little pouches. No, that's koalas, not pandas. Koalas have little pouches. They're marsupials.
I like them. I think they're cute.
I think it'd be cool to have a panda.
I think it'd be cool. I hear they're aggressive. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who said that.
Well,
I don't know if they were lying.
Every animal's aggressive. So I mean, if you like get it and you raise it since it was like a newborn.
Okay, you're cutting my neck off. Okay, there we go. Newborns are great. Not babies, though. They're ugly. But newborn pandas would probably be pretty cute. Though, cuteness can only take you so far. But as a puppy...
It's a metaphor.
It's endless. Puppies are great. All right,
how about...
No, wait, hold up. Can I talk about red pandas?
Red pandas?
Have you not seen red pandas?
No.
All right, everyone.
Are we actually looking this up right now?
We're going to look this up. Justin, stall while I look this up.
So someone asked us, I'm not sure who that is, but... Oh, it's Cheney. Cheney, I think.
Best types of cereal.
Yeah, she has this best types of cereal. And, like, if you know any... Oh, those are foxes.
No, those are red pandas.
But they look like foxes.
No, they don't. They
just have bigger bodies. They're like a fat fox.
I think they're cute. I think they're really cute. The red pandas. Yeah. I saw a red panda at the fair. Not the fair. Why would a red panda be at the fair? At the zoo with some friends. And guys, he was so cute, and then he ran away from us, and we never saw him again.
Was it in captivity?
Literally broke my heart. Well, yeah, it was a zoo. Okay.
Okay, best type of cereal.
Captivity? Oh,
cereal. No, I'm talking about cereal. Okay, so...
I don't really eat cereal.
There is a right answer, and it's the objective best answer. But Nevan, what's your favorite cereal?
I'm not a favorite type of person. I'm like, when it comes to food, when it comes to movies, when it comes to music, like there's things that I like, but you can't sit there and ask me, hey, what's your favorite? I don't know. I like Lucky Charms. I think they're timeless. I do like your blander cereals, so that I can put sugar on them and make them not bland. Which, Justin just stung out his tongue, and that's okay. That's it. I ate Cookie Crisp when I was a child.
Cookie Crisp?
And I
that's
thought
just
that,
cookies
I thought that
and
was
milk.
amazing. That's what I realized. It's literal dessert. Why are we feeding dessert to our children?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
That's what all the...
Can we talk about
That's all the cereals that they're advertising. That's all it is. It's just sugar.
It's sugar.
And a little bit of chocolate
and
powder
we're feeding
sometimes.
it to our children?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So I grew up.
You did?
Yeah. I was born at a very young age. I grew up... Jace Hawkinson. That's a quote.
Yeah, Jace Hawkinson. Yeah. Shout out. Former WSC student, current alumni.
Yes. So, I grew up and we weren't like when I was younger, especially we weren't like super financially well off, and so we had these like food stamps things,
Yeah.
And it'd always be like the generic like Kix cereal, like that's what I grew up with. Kix, I remember that, and the only one I really
soggy so fast.
The only one I really remember besides that is Cheerios, but not Honey Nut Cheerios.
Just plain. Yeah.
Just plain Cheerios.
He's talked about this a lot.
I talk about it so much.
So we're gonna go ahead.
Plain Cheerios are the objective best cereal there ever did was, okay? So, like, you don't even, like, add anything to it. You don't add sugar.
No,
you don't add... strawberries might be good.
You add honey.
No, you can buy that in the store with honey on it already.
But you put natural
honey
on it.
That's way too much.
I have natural
It's way
honey.
too sweet after, like, 3 bites.
I have a honey supplier. That's all. All right, so next we're going to talk about, dressing like a gentleman. No, we're not going to talk about that. Eating in the gag.
What about it?
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Wayne State's cafeteria is often referred to as the gag. Now, here's some insight for you, and Lord, I hope she's not listening right now, but I have heard, this is a new scoop, I have heard the president of Wayne State College literally refer to the cafeteria as the gag. So many of us are told, like as a Wayne State employee, we're not supposed to refer to it as the gag according to some policy, unspoken, or it's spoken, but it's unwritten. Well, guess what? The freaking president of the college calls it the gag. So navigators, you can call it the gag. All right, I'm giving you permission from the president. Great place to eat. Not usually, but I'll tell you what. This year, they have really stepped it up a little bit, as I've heard. They've really stepped it up a little bit. So, not saying much. I haven't actually eaten there, so who the crap knows?
Yeah, I went down to the lower gag one time.
Lower's good.
Yeah, and I had some brisket and some of the smoked mac and cheese stuff, so that was good. It was very good.
Smoking mac and cheese? You can smoke anything nowadays.
Yeah, but also, why is it called the gag?
Yeah, so it's really not that interesting of a story. A long time ago, tilt it up.
It's a Wayne
A long time ago, the food service that used to provide at Wayne State was called the Great American Gourmet, gag for short. Who came up with that? I don't know. They were stupid. But I'll tell you what, Jesus loved them.
Heck yeah, he did.
Anyways, regardless of that, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it's not that interesting of a story. I think it's dumb. I like to come like, why else would it be called the gag? People think it's because the food's gross, and I'll tell you what, it's not the best food in the world. But you know what? You're paying dirt cheap prices compared to like UNL.
Yeah.
Speaking of UNL, we know a lot of people there. They're great people.
Yeah, like one.
One of them, Cale Gardner.
Cale Gardner.
Follow Cale on the trail. Hilarious. All right.
It's a classic
It's
situation.
your classic situation. Man spreading in public. So, good old our friend Megan Gonzalez Oswald, as we like to refer to her.
Yes.
Her name is Megan Oswald, as she's been married for like a couple days now, a couple months, who knows. I was there at her wedding. I DJ'd. It was a good time.
Days turn into weeks, weeks into months.
Months into other things. So, she submitted how to not man spread in public. Or, no, excuse me, in the midst of company.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
here's the situation,
Yeah.
women. I think we need to clarify something. Like, as a man, I'm not sitting there, like, actively choosing
It's true.
to take up as much space as
It's
humanly possible.
very true.
But I will concede that there are some men that don't take into consideration that maybe they could constrain themselves a little. There are men that they go a little too far with the spreading. But I will say, man spreading isn't a crime, and we shouldn't be treated like criminals. I think not only should men be allowed to man spread and or put our legs at a comfortable distance from each other, but I also would concede and or implore that women should be allowed the same right if they so choose to spread their legs as wide as a man's or not.
This isn't a euphemism.
So then, when sitting down, anyways, we're not. Then yeah, equal rights. Everyone should be able to man spread.
Sure.
Yeah.
But here's the situation. Okay?
Here's this. Yeah.
So it's not just like we don't like I honestly I didn't know it was a thing until like 2 years ago, and so like I just sat down and I was comfortable. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. It's comfortable. But not only is it like uncomfortable if you're not sitting in a thing like that, it's like it's not only uncomfortable, it's borderline painful sometimes, or it is painful. It can be. So I mean, like. I would say that, like, it should be a thing that, yes, like, we shouldn't, like, take up as much room as possible, but it's also not, like, a conscious effort, like Nevan was saying. So, I mean, I don't think it should be that big of a deal.
Yeah, also, excuse our belches. We had Wayne's tonight. Those of you that have been to Wayne's understand. We don't need to say anything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jalen Peterson. Jalen Peterson's a good person. He was one of our campers. Both of us had him as campers, but
not at the
separate
same
years.
time.
Yes. So I was on camp team with CSF for 2 years, but my most recent year was last year, 2018. Justin took my place in a sentence on camp team
I don't
this
like
year.
to think of that.
No, I don't either. But Jalen asks that we talk about camp and specifically
Yeah.
how they call Justin Nevan Jr.
Yeah, I don't think Nevan knew that yet, but now he does.
I think you mentioned it. Someone
Did I
mentioned
mention it?
Someone did.
All right, so here's the thing. So we went to this camp, and it was a really great camp, like Nick was saying. Like, honestly, maybe I shouldn't say this, but
It was
like,
a good camp.
it was a good camp. And like my cabin that I was leading, Jalen was one of them. Like, it was probably the best, like, solid group of guys that I've had
There you go.
all summer. Like, we went to different camps and
Screw
whatnot.
the rest of his camp.
Nah, we don't need to do
I'm
that.
kidding. I'm joking.
And so like,
And he didn't say it. So.
yeah, and so when Nevan did it last year, he had the same cabin that I did,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had the same cabin this year,
Yes.
naturally,
Yeah.
and so
Nationally.
nationally,
So,
strike.
in the morning. So, Jalen's a great guy. It was a great time. Camp is great, guys. If you ever have the chance to work either on CSF camp teams or on another type of camp team, or just go to a camp if you're younger and can still do that in high school, do it. That's all I can say. Do it. Camp's great.
Yeah,
You learn about Jesus. You
learn
get
about Jesus.
You get to be out of the world
In
in a
the
sense,
nature.
kind of away from the world, which is really good because the world's not always great. It's a good time. Do camp. All right.
All right.
Weirdest foods
Weirdest food
you like to eat or have seen others eat. This is by our very own Kennedy. And by our very own, I've said that about everyone. We do not own these people, nor do we necessarily want to, nor do we necessarily not want to. It's just a matter of us not having any sort of ownership of them. We mean it metaphorically.
Yes.
Go ahead. Okay.
Weirdest food? I don't know.
So, okay, you know what? So, it's weirdest food you would like to eat. I'll tell you what I wouldn't like to eat. Salmon. And I know what you're thinking. Salmon's great. And I'll tell you what. I really loved salmon for the longest time. I'd only had it a few times in my life. But I could tell you, I'm not going to go through the whole story. We'll do that in another podcast another day. But let's just say every time I eat salmon, I get sick. And I don't mean like the flu. That'd be weird. I mean like I get nauseous. And inevitably throw up in the middle of a church lobby. That may have happened once.
Once?
Just once. Thankfully. Came close a second.
Close.
We didn't. But, yeah, so never eating salmon again. If you come near me, oh gracious, I shouldn't say this, I'm just tempting it. But if you come near me with a salmon, and I mean any, like, salmon scented anything, I will find a pair of nunchucks, and I will probably use them. Probably injure myself in the process, but I will use them. All right, that's all.
Yeah.
Weirdest foods.
So, honestly, I don't know. Like, all I can think of is sushi. I had sushi this last summer. Okay. And it was really good, honestly.
I liked it. Okay.
I'd like to have it again. But, like, don't they, like, make, like mussels? Like, aren't those a thing? Like, in the, they pull open the clam hinge thing and, like, inside. Don't they, like, cook those? No, I've had scallops before. I don't know. But, there you go.
Hey, you know what we found out today? 2 things, actually, from Snow White. One, apparently the witch in Snow White introduced the apples as saying, hey, I made these apples for you. And, like, if I'm Snow White, like, I know she's dumb, right? Like, we learn that throughout the movie. But, like, if someone makes an apple for you, don't eat it. Like, unless it's God. Eat God's apples.
But unless it's the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Not to say that there was an apple.
Right. Yeah.
But I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Is it like a phrase? Like, apple, when people make apples for you? What are you talking about?
Like, she literally said, in the movie, she's like, I made you an apple. But it's, like, she didn't make an apple.
Oh.
You don't make apples. God makes apples. He gives them to us.
You could, like, put them in the...
No.
Bake them.
She didn't. It was a whole apple. She's just holding it.
Right. But we have another takeaway from Snow.
Yes. What was it? I literally don't remember.
Water being wet.
Oh. So another question got submitted by our very own Evan Arnold. He submitted 2. This was his second. Is water wet, ladies and gentlemen? Well, this question was answered way back in 1937, but not our very own. He wasn't ours. But by the legendary Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
In 1937, in the movie, one of the dwarves exclaims, while he goes to wash his face, he dips his little finger in the water. It's little because he's a dwarf. He dips his little finger in the water and he says, "It's wet." So, confirmed.
Yes.
1937, Walt Disney, water... I thought we were saying it together. Water is wet.
Case closed.
Yep.
So the objective truth, as opposed to subjective truth.
Yeah, well,
that's another topic.
We'll have
another day.
Deep discussion another day. Also, we want to know, hey, what do you want out of this podcast?
Hey,
it's the people. We call this the People's Podcast. Besides Conversations in Water, that's the name of the podcast. But the other name of the podcast that we don't use is the People's Podcast. We want to know, do you want pure comedy? Because it can just be comedy. We can take out the dating advice. I'm kidding. That is pure comedy. It's funny because we're both single. We're both single.
Yeah.
And anyways,
we're both single.
That's all. That's a plug. That's a plug, ladies. So
not guys.
Definitely not the men. We respect you, but we don't. No, thank you. To the men, but but what do you want out of do you want more of the, series? So we could do serious talk. We were thinking of calling it the serious conversation.
We had serious
The
conversation.
serious
segment
conversation
or something.
or something.
Yeah.
With water.
We don't even have water.
No, we won't have water in the serious conversations. We also don't have water with this.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But that's
Next time, you know what? The tagline is right there in the tagline.
Yeah.
We bring the conversation. You bring the water. If you don't bring the water, that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But then there's no water in the conversation. There's no water, and it's okay. But it's the name.
Yes.
So you're kind of just failing the name. But that's not on us. That's on you.
Yeah. So next time when you hear our tagline and you don't have
Yes.
water, just go ahead and pause it right there. We won't go anywhere.
Nope.
And go to your kitchen.
Yep.
Or the nearest source of water.
Water
Hopefully it's not a
fountain.
toilet.
Toilet would be fine if you
No.
have to.
I veto.
Let them make their
fill
own
up the
decision.
nearest container and you're set to go.
Even if it's a bedpan, fill it up. Don't drink from it, but you just have to have the water near you. It just has to be in the vicinity.
You know what? You could even go outside and find a big water fountain that's shooting up in the air.
Yeah.
You can go outside and sit next to a fountain. People will be like, "Hey, you're listening to a podcast, aren't you?"
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah, but also we plan to have special guests
we're gonna have
sometimes.
special guests.
We're gonna have special guests.
Yeah, special guests.
They're gonna be special.
And guests.
And they're gonna be guests.
It'll be good.
Yes.
We don't want to name drop, and we haven't gotten permission by 80 of these people, but we're talking Katie Morris, if you know her. We're talking Justin Ralston, director of CSF.
Heck yeah.
He doesn't know this. He's probably not even listening to this.
Honestly.
But he might.
Well, I'm not surprised.
He's learning. He says that a lot. He's learning it right now. Nicole Kent is a friend of ours.
Yeah, I was thinking Reed
UNK.
Bednar, but we could go to UNK and film an episode.
We could. UNK, we're coming at you. We don't know when.
We are.
2019, 2020, could be 2030. We don't know, but it'll happen. Probably they won't be there in 2030.
They are
we're seniors.
medical
And they're medical.
profession.
They're medical
So
people.
they're going to be going to school forever.
They'll go to med. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We'll have years. And of course, Kale. We got to collaborate with Mr. Kale on the trail.
Kale on the trail.
Heck.
I don't know that person.
It's a place. It's right above him.
Above? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not real. That's not. It's not in the Bible. There's no heck.
Yeah. It's not the Bible.
There might be other people as well. The librarian. I know several of them. One of them is named Marissa. She's a very sweet lady. We could invite her if she'd like to come on. Some of them might be here an entire episode. Some might be here for 30 seconds.
Evan Arnold.
Evan P. Arnold. Did we not get to any of our things? Our leggings pants.
What? Why are you jumping to that now?
I'll tell you what. Leggings.
We were about to end it.
We still will, but we did need to answer this. I'll tell you what. Leggings. That's when we were talking about weddings. Leggings. They're something. They cover your legs, I guess. So are they pants?
If they're not pants, then what are they? Because they're not
leg coverings.
They're not like underwear.
That would be strange.
That would be
a lot of women walking around in.
I don't like that thought. I think they're pants. I don't know. I don't.
This might be the most.
I don't really condone